Hi guys, I can't believe it is already December, so that means it's time to do my November wrap up and December TBR. I really mean it when I can't believe that it is December already. I don't know what happened to November. It all just kind of went away from me. Just a quick recap. The beginning of November was going pretty normal, and then I actually got exposed to COVID. Luckily, I did not get COVID, but I did have to isolate for 14 days. You would think that that meant that I got a lot of reading done, but I actually didn't. It was a lot of mind games going on while I was sitting here alone. I was also really lucky that I got to work from home while I was isolated, so I actually didn't get a lot of reading done. But despite not getting a lot of reading done, I did get 3 books read this month, and I do consider it a really good reading month because they were all really good books. So I'll jump in with the very first book that I read, The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. It is the sequel to The Golden Compass and comes just before The Amber Spyglass in his trilogy. I actually said that I was going to finish all 3 of these books in October, but that never happened, so I just limited myself to The Subtle Knife in November. The second season in the HBO series of his Dark Materials just came out, so I wanted to make sure I had The Subtle Knife finished before I started watching that. I finished the book a couple of days before the series started, so I was really proud of myself that I got that done. I've read this book several times, so as always, it's a 5 out of 5. It is a great read, a great adventure. I know these are considered children's or YA novels, but there is a level of adultness in each book that I think really speaks to me and hits different now that I am an adult. I read them originally when I was a child. So yeah, big fan of this series. You've heard me talk about it many times. I'm planning on reading The Amber Spyglass in January. I have a lot of other books that I want to get done in December. I think it'll be safe to finish The Amber Spyglass in January because the 3rd season of the HBO series hasn't even been announced yet. Next up, Anxious People. Oh my goodness, you guys. This book was amazing. How do I even describe it? It was just so lovely, and I didn't know much about what was gonna happen in it. I had originally read the synopsis saying that it was a bank robbery gone wrong. I guess you could describe it that way, but that doesn't really even put into perspective what the story is. It's just kind of the catalyst that makes everything happen. But it is so lovely and delightful, and I highlighted so many lines in this book that I want to live by every day. I think my favorite quote from the book is actually a quote from Martin Luther saying that even if he knew that the world was going to end tomorrow, he would still plant an apple tree. I think that really spoke to me because of everything that's happening in the world right now. It feels very apocalyptic right now in some ways, and I think reading this book was really a tonic for me, and I hope that this book also would be a tonic for you and what's going on right now in the world. And frankly, anything that's going on in your life. This is a really good book to kind of put into perspective what is going on in other people's minds or other people's lives that makes them behave in a certain way. Of course, everyone tries to do their best in imagining everybody else as having a life outside of just, being an extra in their own personal lives. So this book really made me focus in on that and imagine other people's struggles more alongside my own struggles. I will also forewarn you with a trigger warning. There is some talk of suicide in this book, and it is a major theme that goes throughout it. So if that's something that you can't handle right now or that you avoid in your life, I would say maybe skip this one. But otherwise, I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. It is amazing. It is so sweet. Just some of the little conversations that go back and forth between the characters is just so wonderful. So highly recommend this book. Okay, we're gonna talk about it. It's Dune. If you followed me on Instagram at all, this book was a struggle for me. And it's not because it's not a good book. I loved this book. It just was so hard to get into, and it's very dense, and there's a lot of descriptions of things and understanding of the ecology of a planet and humanity and pseudo-religions, and it was a lot. And I kept telling myself that because I read Lord of the Rings in grade 7, that I could definitely finish this book as an adult And once I got about halfway through, that's when it really kicked in. I was like, okay, things are happening. Even though things did happen in the beginning and it did keep moving forward, part of me was like, okay, let's get to the point. Come on, guys, where are we going? What are we doing? Who are we talking to? So yeah, I ended up really liking this book. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I loved Lord of the Rings, and I kept thinking of this as Lord of the Rings in space. And in fact, when I did some research on the book after I finished it, I saw a description saying that really the only equal in detail and epicness is Lord of the Rings to Dune. So highly recommend. It is a classic. If you are a Star Wars fan, there are so many Dune vibes in Star Wars. I felt the whole time I was reading it that I was just reading another extension of Star Wars. I didn't see very many elements of Star Trek in there. I know they're kind of in there in some parts, but really, really gave me some Star Wars feels. I'm very excited for the movie. I think the movie is going to be really good. I hope it's going to be really good. I don't know how they're going to do some of the scenes and the way they describe some of the visions that Paul has and that kind of stuff. I don't know how they're going to do it in the movie. I'm looking forward to it though. So yeah, if you are a sci-fi person or even a fantasy person, because I would classify this as more space fantasy rather than science fiction, highly recommend reading Dune. Okay, we're going to move into December now, and I need to make a little bit of a wardrobe change. Merry Christmas, yeah, filthy animals. I found this at Target and I'm obsessed with it. So I figured since we're doing a December reads, I can get in my December Christmas sweater. Okay, so I have decided to do a theme for my December reads. I saw that some people were doing themes for December as well. I think there was a whole readathon. I think it was like Tis the Readsin'. I'm just doing my own little thing, my own winter themed, Christmas themed books. But I'm really excited for them. I love watching romantic comedies that are Christmas themed, like Love Actually. I put You've Got Mail in that list. So I figured it would be fun to read some Christmas themed romance books as well as some winter themed books. So without further ado, I'm going to just jump into it. The first book is a classic. It is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I read this for the first time last year when the movie came out, and it blew my mind. It was so good. It's such a sweet story. Because it's a classic, I was expecting it to be really boring and just kind of dumb. And my husband, who grew up with 3 sisters and 1 other brother, but 3 sisters really influenced the whole watching of the Little Women thing. They've seen all of the Little Women movies. So I figured this was a good book to pick up last year because I wanted to read it before I saw the movie. And it was really cute because the entire time I was reading it, he was like, "What part are you at?" And so, yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised by this book. And I figured since it's a Christmassy book, it starts out at Christmas, I would give it a go and maybe try and make this an annual thing. So y'all have seen this all over Instagram, I'm sure. It is In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. If you are a newbie to Christina Lauren, they are a duo, a writing duo, and their names are Christina and Lauren. Yeah, this is my first book that I'm going to read by them. I'm really looking forward to it. I was kind of influenced as well by my new Instagram friend Sammy from Far Flung Readers. We were at Books A Million one day and she pointed this out and I was like, maybe I will give it a go. And so yeah, I picked it up at my local bookstore and I'm really excited to read it. Okay, along the same theme, I am going to read Wrapped Up in You by Talia Hibbert. It is a novella that was exclusively released on Kobo Books. I don't have a Kobo Books e-reader, but I did download the app and you can purchase it through the app. And so yeah, I'm just gonna read it on my phone or my iPad. It's supposed to be pretty short. I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown and loved it, so I'm sure I'm going to love pretty much anything Talia writes. Already heard good things about it too, so yeah, another Christmas themed romance. The next book I'm planning to read, I haven't been able to pick up yet. I've ordered it through my local bookstore, but it just hasn't arrived yet. I'm not planning to read it until later in the month anyway, so I'm not worried about it, but it is called Winter Solstice by Rosamund Pilcher. I don't really know much about what the storyline's going to be. I just really like Rosamund Pilcher, and I figured this was another winter book that I could add to my pile of Christmas winter books to read in December. So yeah, I think this one's gonna be good. I've heard good things too. I've heard good things about all of the books that I'm gonna read this month. So I read a book by Rosamund Pilcher a couple of years ago called The Shell Seekers. I think that is her most popular book and I loved it. So I figure I'm probably gonna really like this book too. All right, last but not least, This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousins. Yes, I signed up for Book of the Month. This is my first book that I've gotten from them. I'm pretty stoked about this one. So this sounds like it's a romance that takes place around New Year's. So I figure I'll probably read it at the end of December. So this was part of the November box. I haven't gotten my December one yet, but I figured since this was kind of New Year's-y, I should probably read it around New Year's. So there you have it, my November wrap up and my December TBR. I'm not planning on producing another video this month, so I hope you all have a wonderful, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, all the things. Happy New Year's Eve, all of them. Yeah, so I'm very grateful for all of you. I'm so happy that you have joined me on this adventure in 2020. I've really enjoyed having an excuse to read more books and to be able to talk about them with you. If you want to, please follow me on Instagram. I update there all the time. I share funny things that I find on the internet. And I really like the conversations that we can have on Instagram. I know YouTube is nice, we can do little comments, but the conversation really is at Instagram. So please, please, please follow me there. I have a TikTok as well. I'm not so great at making that, but I do really enjoy it. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next year. Keep reading.